definition. Usually the complex number is denoted by the lowercase letter z, okay, and we write it as x plus iota y. From now on I will say I instead of iota. So z is equal to x plus iy, where I is the root of -1. Okay, x and y are real numbers, please keep that in mind. Okay, so x and y are our usual real numbers. Examples of complex numbers would be 2 plus 3i, -4 plus 5i, -9 minus 18i, 2 minus 3i. Okay, now with each complex number come two things. First is its real part, which is x, and then we have its imaginary part, which is y. Okay, so because both real and imaginary parts are x and y respectively, which are real numbers, we cannot say that imaginary part of z is iy. You have to say that imaginary part of z is only y and not iy. Okay, so now let us write down the real and the imaginary parts of these four complex numbers. Real part 2, imaginary part 3, real part -4, imaginary part 5, real part -9, imaginary part -18, real part 2, imaginary part -3. Okay, so this is how we define the complex numbers, and we also define three new terms. The first term is the modulus of the complex number, okay, or we often say mod, which is denoted by mod z and is defined as root of x squared plus y squared. Okay, second thing is the argument or amplitude. We call it argz or ampz. Okay, both are synonyms. I will tell you how to define argument or amplitude later. And the third thing is complex conjugate of any complex number. Okay, so the complex conjugate is denoted by z bar and is defined as x minus I y. Okay, so let us quickly find out the mod and the complex conjugates of these 1, 2, 3, 4 complex numbers. Okay, we'll find the amplitude later. First, let's find the moduli. Okay, first will be root 13, second will be root of 45, oh sorry, not 45, 16 plus 25, 41, third will be root of 81 plus 324, whatever that is, and fourth will be again root 30. Okay, so remember we are squaring y, we are not squaring iy. So because y is -3, the imaginary part, the modulus of the complex number 2 minus 3i is root 30. Now let's find the complex conjugates. All you have to do is simply change the sign of the imaginary part. So 2 minus 3i, -4 minus 5i, then -9 plus 18i, and 2 plus 3i. Okay, so you observe that the complex conjugate of 2 plus 3i is 2 minus 3i. The complex conjugate of 2 minus 3i, this one, is again 2 plus 3i. So that brings us to an important characteristic of complex conjugate, that is complex conjugate of any complex conjugate of any complex number is the same complex number. Okay, now let us talk about the argument or amplitude of any complex number. Do you remember the polar coordinates that you studied in the trigonometry? Yes. So polar coordinates are basically a system of coordinates to represent position of any point with respect to a fixed point in the two-dimensional space. Okay, so if I have a point, let's say here, let me call it xy, then the r coordinate is defined as the length of this vector, and the theta coordinate is defined as the angle made by the radius vector or the green vector here with the positive direction of x-axis measured in the anti-clockwise direction from positive direction of x-axis. Okay, so what are the relations connecting r theta and xy? R is given by root of x squared plus y squared, and if the point lies in the first quadrant, then theta is given by tan inverse of y upon x. Okay, so basically argument of any complex number is this angle theta, and the modulus of any complex number is this real number r. Okay, so this is what we talk about in Argand diagram. Okay, in Argand diagram we consider our xy plane. Okay, however, we do not say that point P has coordinates xy. We say that P represents the complex number x plus I y. Okay, so see, this transition is important. When we talked about polar coordinates or conic sections, we were not saying that these points actually represent complex numbers. What we were saying was there is an ordered pair xy associated with each and every point. We called the first element of that ordered pair as abscissa or x coordinate, and we called the second element of the pair as the y coordinate or simply ordinate. Now we are making a change. We are considering the same xy plane, but we are now calling it an Argand diagram, or sometimes we also call it Argand plane. So on this Argand plane, I am saying that every point or each point P whose coordinates are xy actually represents the complex number x plus I y. Okay, so once you get the complex number x plus I y and the corresponding point in the xy plane, then you can very easily find its argument or amplitude. Okay, now all of you know coterminal angles. So if I rotate the positive direction of x-axis, the ray, in anti-clockwise direction through one complete revolution, and if then I reach this point or this particular ray, then I would have covered an angle of theta plus 2 pi. Yes, so I can say that this is also the argument of the corresponding complex number x plus I y. Okay, so there are infinitely many such values of angles which qualify to be called as the argument of any complex number. That's why we define the principal argument. Okay, so principal argument of any complex number is that angle which lies between minus pi and pi. We are excluding negative pi, but we are including the positive pi. Okay, so if we have any complex number in the first quadrant, let's go back to those angles or those complex numbers which we discussed, these four. Okay, you notice that 2 plus 3i lies in the first quadrant because the corresponding point is 2, 3. So for this particular complex number, the modulus will be between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Let's go to the second point here. This particular complex number has real part negative and imaginary part positive, which means the location of this point or this complex number on the Argand plane will be in the second quadrant. Yes, so if that is the case, then the theta will be between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Okay, let's now talk about this particular complex number. This lies in the fourth quadrant. Okay, so we are now talking about the principal argument, so we will say that the principal argument of this particular complex number will be between 0 and minus 90 degrees. We won't say that it is between 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi or 270 and 360, because the convention is we always talk about the principal argument which lies in that range which I mentioned, negative pi to positive pi. So what will now be the location of this point? Third quadrant. Both are negative, minus 9 real part and minus 18 the imaginary part. So because both these things are negative, for this complex number the principal argument will be between minus 180 degrees and minus 90 degrees. So you should be a bit more careful while using this formula, tan inverse of y upon x. This formula is applicable only when the complex number is in the first quadrant, and in all other three quadrants you should be extremely careful. Okay, so this is regarding the modulus, argument or amplitude, and the complex conjugate of any complex number.